right. Welcome, welcome. We are on chapter 7 for Failing Forward. This one says, "Is the past holding your life hostage?" So, I'm just going to go ahead and read through it. It takes around 20 minutes to get through each chapter. They're all around the same. Check. All right. One reason God created time was so that there would be a place to bury the failures of the past. James Long. I like it. When I get a bit of time off, I like to play golf. I'm not a great golfer. I'd say I'm average, but I'm a lot better than I once was. When I first started playing golf in 1969, I was terrible. I used a baseball grip and I tried to muscle the ball down the fairway, which caused my ball to have a big hook, often putting me in the woods and rough. I was 22 years old when I started playing. Maybe I would have had an easier time if I'd started when I was 5 years old, as many of today's players did. Who knows? But no matter what, I'm glad I started golfing, and I can tell you who sparked my interest in this sport: Arnold Palmer. Before Tiger Woods. Arnold Palmer is one of the great sportsmen of the 20th century, and he really put professional golf on the map. Rick Riley in Sports Illustrated wrote, "Basically, he took a game that was a little too prissy, a little too clubby, a little too saturated with Ivy League men trying not to soil their cardigans, and breathed sweet life into it. Or as Vin Scully says, in a sport that was high society, he made it high noon. That's why someone such as Tour Pro Rocco Mediate told Palmer during the hoopla at Palmer's last US Open, 'You made all this possible.' Of Palmer, Tiger Woods simply stated, 'He was what I wanted to be like.' Many people of my generation, I was born in 1947, became golfers because of Arnold Palmer, just as the popularity of the game today has increased because of Tiger Woods. Palmer was a consummate golf professional. Like Woods, he started playing as a small boy, and as he grew up, he performed just about every job he could on a golf course. His father was a golf pro and course superintendent. Palmer has been active in professional golf for more than 40 years and has won 92 championships, 61 of them on the USPGA Tour. From 1960 to 1963, he was the greatest golfer in the world, winning 29 PGA victories. That ability got him named Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year in 1960 and Athlete of the Decade, according to an Associated Press poll. One writer said of Palmer that he combined the boldness of a Brinks bandit with the fearless confidence of a man on a flying trapeze. He doesn't play a golf course, he assaults it. And golf legend Bobby Jones once said, "If I ever had an 8-foot putt and everything I owned depended on it, I'd want Arnold Palmer to take it for me." Palmer's down-to-earth attitude, sparkling personality, rugged good looks, and incredible playing ability caused him to draw huge crowds of spectators who would follow him from hole to hole, just as Tiger Woods fans do today. Back then, they were dubbed Arnie's Army, and it seemed they'd follow him anywhere to get a chance to see the man they called the King perform on the course. It was a first for golf, and it was sure fun to watch. That makes me want to go watch it. I've never seen him. Even the best stumble. Any golfer can have a really bad hole, even a Hall of Famer like Arnold Palmer. The key to playing through it is to forget about your bad shots. That can be a difficult thing to do, especially when someone erects a bronze monument to your bad hole. That's what happened to Arnold Palmer. It occurred at the 1961 Los Angeles Open at the peak of Palmer's career. On the par 5 ninth hole, his last of the day, Palmer hit a good drive and wanted to try to put the ball on the green with his second shot. He would be in position to attempt a birdie, getting one stroke closer to the leaders. With his 3-wood, Palmer hit what he believed was a good shot. But as the ball sailed, it faded to the right, hit a pole, and bounced out of bounds onto the driving range. Palmer dropped the ball, took a penalty stroke, and tried again. This time, his ball hooked to the left and flew off the course into a road. Again, he dropped the ball and took a penalty stroke. He repeated this process, hitting the ball out of bounds several times. Finally, he put the ball on the green. By then, he had accumulated 10 strokes. It took him 2 more strokes with his putter to hold the ball. He finished with a 12. And because of that, he went from a few strokes behind the leaders to scoring so poorly that he was out of the tournament. A monument to failure? Today, nearly 40 years later, if you go to the 9th hole at the Rancho Park Golf Course in Los Angeles, you will find a bronze plaque that states, on Friday, January 6, 1961, The first day of the 35th Los Angeles Open, Arnold Palmer, voted Golfer of the Year and Pro Athlete of the Year, took a 12 on this hole. In the late 1990s, I had the opportunity to meet Arnold Palmer playing golf. It was down at the Bay Hill Club in Orlando. I was playing with my brother Larry, and there in the foursome behind us was the king himself. As we were winding down for the day, I teed off from the second to last hole, and I hooked the ball really badly. It fired over into the adjacent fairway and right at another golfer. To my horror, as I yelled, "4," I realized the person about to be beamed was none other than Palmer. Fortunately, he ducked. About 6 months later, I received this letter in the mail. It says Arnold Palmer's Bay Hill Club, February 12, 1997. Dear Dr. John Maxwell, in Joy, El Cajon, California. Dear John, on behalf of myself and the entire staff of the Bay Hill Country Club, we would like to wish you a happy 50th birthday. As founder of the club, I extend a personal invitation to join our amateur seniors tour. It would be our privilege to have you. John, on a personal note, when you almost decapitated me on the 17th hole last November, I made a mental note. That swing surely is from a man about to qualify for the senior circuit. I had no idea until I saw the member birthday roster that I was so right. The unique swing now qualifies you, along with your 50th birthday, to be an elite member of our seniors club. At our lodge, just ask for the senior discount. I'm sure you won't need ID. The staff prides itself on recognizing senior ability by hair color, facial lines, and other attributes. If all else fails, just show them your swing. That'll do it. Happy 50th birthday, John Maxwell. Keep swinging, Arnold Palmer. Good golfers don't dwell on bad performances, not if they want to remain good golfers. And that has always been true of Arnold Palmer. Once, when asked about his performance at the Open on hole 9, he commented, "That doggone plaque will be there long after I'm gone, but you have to put things like that behind you. That's one of the wonderful things about golf. Your next shot can be as good or as bad as your last one, but you'll always get another chance." How the past impacts the present. The same quality that makes a professional golfer effective enables any person to overcome failure and become a strong achiever. The ability to put past events behind him and move on. That quality positions a person to tackle current challenges with enthusiasm and a minimum of burdensome personal baggage. In contrast, someone who is unable to get over previous hurts and failures is held hostage by the past. The baggage he carries around makes it very difficult for him to move forward. In fact, in more than 30 years of working with people, I have yet to meet a successful person who continually dwelled on his past difficulties. A few years ago, I heard my friend Chuck Swindoll tell the story of Chippy the parakeet. He said the bird's problems began when the woman who owned him decided to clean up the seeds and loose feathers from the bottom of his cage using a vacuum. When the phone rang, the owner turned to pick it up, and you guessed it, with a thud and a whoosh, Chippy was gone. The owner quickly turned off the vacuum and unzipped the bag. There was Chippy. He was stunned but breathing. Seeing that he was covered with black dust, his owner rushed Chippy to the bathtub, where she turned on the faucet full blast and held the bird under the icy water. At that point, she realized that she'd done even more damage, and she quickly cranked up her blow dryer and gave the wet, shivering little parakeet a blast. Chuck finished the story by saying, "Chippy doesn't sing much anymore." Extremes. People who are unable to overcome the past are a little like Chippy. They allow their negative experiences to color the way they live their lives today. It may sound as if I'm making light of what may have happened to you in the past. I'm not. I know that people suffer genuine tragedies in this imperfect world. They lose children, spouses, parents, and friends, sometimes under horrible circumstances. My dad lost his mother before he was 8 years old. People contract cancer, multiple sclerosis, AIDS, and other debilitating diseases. They suffer unspeakable abuses at the hands of others. All of these things are true. But tragedies don't have to stop a person from possessing a positive outlook, being productive, and living life to the fullest. One man is born with severe disabilities and decides the world owes him, while another, such as Roger Crawford, goes on to become a tennis pro. One person who contracts AIDS bitterly gives up on life, while another, such as basketball's Magic Johnson, builds his business and enjoys his family life. One woman experiences rape and withdraws into herself, while another, such as Kelly McGillis, overcomes the experience and becomes a successful actress in Hollywood. No matter how dark a person's past is, it need not color his present permanently. Signs of past breakdown. In my experience, the problems of people's pasts impact them in one of two ways. They experience either a breakdown or a breakthrough. The following five characteristics are signs that people haven't gotten over past difficulties. 1. Comparison. If you hear people continually talk about how much harder they've had it than anyone else, chances are they are allowing themselves to be held hostage by their past. Their motto is similar to something Quentin Crisp once said: never keep up with the Joneses, drag them down to your level, it's cheaper. Number 2, rationalization. Another characteristic of people trapped by their past is rationalization, believing that there are good reasons not to get over past difficulties. Rationalization creates a fog that hinders people from finding solutions to their problems. Excuses, no matter how strong, never lead to achievement. Number 3, isolation. As I've mentioned, some people withdraw due to their past hurts. For many, it's like a natural reflex that kicks in for self protection. When naturally outgoing people isolate themselves because of the past, they become especially miserable. Author C.S. Lewis asserted, "We are born helpless. As soon as we are fully conscious, we discover loneliness. We need others physically, emotionally, intellectually. We need them if we are to know anything, even ourselves." Number 4, regret. A significant hindrance to living life in the present is regret. It saps people's energy and leaves little enabling them to do anything positive. My friend Dwight Bain emailed me something called The City of Regret that tells the whole story. I had not really planned to take a trip this year, yet I found myself packing anyway. And off I went, dreading it. I was on another guilt trip. I booked my reservation on Wish I Had Airlines. I didn't check my bags. Everyone carries their baggage on this airline. And had to drag it for what seemed like miles in the Regret City airport. And I could see that people from all over the world were there with me, limping along under the weight of bags they had packed themselves. I caught a cab to Last Resort Hotel, the driver taking the whole trip backward, looking over his shoulder. And there I found the ballroom where my event would be held, the annual pity party. As I checked in, I saw that all my old colleagues were on the guest list. The Dunn family, woulda, coulda, and shoulda. Both of the opportunities, missed and lost. All the yesterdays, there were too many to count, but all would have sad stories to share. Shattered dreams and broken promises would be there too, along with their friends Don't Blame Me and Couldn't Help It. And of course, hours and hours of entertainment would be provided by that renowned storyteller, It's Their Fault. As I prepared to settle in for a really long night, I realized that one person had the power to send all those people home and break up the party: me. All I had to do was return to the present and welcome the new day. If you have found yourself getting on a flight to the city of regret, recognize that it's a trip you book yourself and you can cancel it at any time without penalty or fee. But you're the only one who can. It's true. Been there. Number 5, bitterness. People who don't get beyond the problems or the pain of the past eventually become bitter. It is the inevitable consequences of not processing old injuries and tragedies. Shannon, did you have something you wanted to share? Okay, I just want to make sure. I feel like I'm always going through this cycle. Like, it's so hard, especially when like I am down on myself for like not working my business better. I'm like, I just go right through this list. It's like comparing, and it's really obvious. But we can get off of that trip. We can like cancel the trip.
That was really, really well written.
Yeah.
Kind of a fun way to look at it. And then to recognize, like, you're the one who decided to go on the trip, and you're the one that can decide when to go back.
Exactly. I know. It's like we should take personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Just move forward. Let it all go. All right. Bitterness. Wes Roberts, president of Life Enrichment, advises people do not have to remain victims of their past, but when they do, they become prisoners of their own emotions. Often as adults, those prisons are addictions, workaholism, is that right? Workaholism, alcoholism, sexual addictions, eating addictions. We place ourselves in prison. In other words, we allow the past to hold us hostage. No matter what you've experienced, remember this. There are people who've had it better than you and done worse. And there are people who've had it worse than you and done better. The circumstances really have nothing to do with getting over your personal history. Past hurts can make you bitter or better. The choice is yours. Breakthrough, the alternative to breakdown. Every major difficulty you face in life is a fork in the road. You choose which track you will head down, toward breakdown or breakthrough. Dick Biggs, a consultant who helps Fortune 500 companies improve profits and increase productivity, writes that all of us have unfair experiences. As a result, some people merely exist and adopt a cease and desist mentality. He continues. One of the best teachers of persistence is your life's critical turning points. Expect to experience 3 to 9 turning points or significant changes in your life. These transitions can be happy experiences or unhappy times, such as job losses, divorce, financial setbacks, health problems, and the death of loved ones. Turning points can provide perspective, which is the ability to view major changes within the larger framework of your lifetime and let the healing power of time prevail. By learning from your turning points, you can grow at a deeper level within your career and life. I'm in a turning point right now. If you've been badly hurt, then start by acknowledging the pain and grieving any loss you may have experienced. Then forgive the people involved, including yourself, if needed. Doing that will help you move on. If you cannot accomplish that on your own, enlist the help of a professional. I understand that it may be very difficult to go through this process, but you can do it. Just think, today may be your day to turn the hurts of your past into a breakthrough for the future. Don't allow anything from your personal history to keep holding you hostage. A dream beckons to the east. One person who always traveled light without too much personal baggage was Sister Frances Cabrini. On the March day in 1889, when the 38-year-old nun got off the boat at Ellis Island, she was thinking about the task ahead of her, helping establish an orphanage, school, and convent in New York City. She wasn't preoccupied with any of the problems from her past, though she had experienced plenty. Francesca Lodi Cabrini was born 2 months premature in the Lombardy town of Sant'Angelo, Italy, where she remained the sickliest child in her village as she grew up. At age 6, she decided that she wanted to become a missionary to China. However, people mocked her dream. A missionary order would never accept a girl who was ill most of the time, her sister Rosa scoffed. At age 12, she took a vow of chastity, and when she reached the required minimum age of 18, she applied to join the Daughters of the Sacred Heart convent. But she was indeed rejected because she was too sickly. Rejection was not going to make Cabrini give up her dream of ministering in Asia. She began doing what she could in her own village to build her strength and prove her worth. She taught neighborhood children. She cared for an older villager, and when a smallpox epidemic hit, she nursed family and friends through it until she became sick. After she recovered, she reapplied to the convent. She was turned down again. Step forward. After 6 years, Cabrini finally gained acceptance into the order. She thought that milestone would put her one step closer to achieving her dream of serving in China. But she was to experience many additional setbacks. Both her parents died within a year. Then she was assigned to teach at a local school rather than one overseas. When she applied to other organizations devoted to working in Asia, she was rejected. Soon, she was assigned to oversee a small orphanage in Codogno. I don't know what's that. It's probably Italian, so it's like Codogno or something like that. A town not more than 50 miles from her home. She spent 6 frustrating years there before the orphanage was closed down. When she still dreamed of traveling to Asia, a superior told her that if she wanted to be a part of a missionary order, she should start one herself. So that's what she did. With the assistance of a half-dozen girls from the orphanage, she founded the Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart in 1880. During the next 8 years, she built the order, establishing foundations in Milan, Rome, and other Italian cities. She tried to earn a place to Asia, but Pope Leo the 13th, here's Lady Clara, put an end to Cabrini's dream of ministering in China. He told her, not to the east, but to the west. You will find a vast field of labor in the United States. She was to help run an orphanage school and convent in New York City. A trip west. That is how Sister Frances Cabrini came to be at Ellis Island in March 1889. Her lifelong dream of serving in Asia lay in ruins behind her in Italy, the only home she'd ever known. Come on.
Mommy, I slept really good. Yay! So now I can just sleep without any purpose.
So proud of you. Good job, Kitty.
Grace said she would move in with me, but now she's not. But see, will you move in? Well, I can't.
Okay, I'm gonna finish reading, okay?
Okay.
Okay, where was I? Okay, she's going to New York City. A trip west. That is how Sister Frances Cabrini came to be at Ellis Island in March 1889. Her lifelong dream of serving in Asia lay in ruins behind her in Italy, the only home she'd ever known. But she didn't look back. She was not someone to allow the past to hold her hostage. Over the next 28 years, she dedicated herself to the task of ministering to people in the Americas, and she overcame plenty of obstacles to do it. When she arrived in New York, she was told that the plans for the orphanage school and convent had fallen through and that she should return to Italy. Instead, she solved the problems they were having and established the facilities as planned. It didn't matter what difficulties she faced, she continually overcame them. By the time she died in 1917, at age 77, she had founded more than 70 hospitals, schools, and orphanages in the United States, Spain, France, England, and South America. Cabrini's impact was incredible. She was the Mother Teresa of her day, possessing similar compassion, grit, tenacity, and leadership. But she never would have made a difference if she had allowed her past to hold her hostage. Instead of lamenting the loss of her dream and the hurts of her youth, she moved on and did what she could where God put her. My hope is that you can do the same. All right. Finishing up says your 7th step to failing forward, say goodbye to yesterday. To move forward today, you must learn to say goodbye to yesterday's hurts, tragedies, and baggage. You can't build a monument to past problems and fail forward. Take time right now to list the negative events from your past that may be holding you hostage. For each item you listed, go through the following process. Number 1, acknowledge the pain. Number 2, grieve the loss. Number 3, forgive the person. Number 4, forgive yourself. Number 5, determine to release the event and move on. If you're having a hard time because you're holding grudges, talk to God about the issue and ask Him to help you through the process. No matter how difficult this becomes, persevere through it. You will not be able to do your best today until you say goodbye to yesterday. And here's the recap of the 7 steps to failing forward. Number 1, realize there's one major difference between average people and achieving people. Number 2, learn a new definition of failure. Number 3, remove the you from failure. Number 4, take action and reduce your fear. Number 5, change your response to failure by accepting responsibility. Number 6, don't let the failure from outside get inside you. And number 7, say goodbye to yesterday.
No, I already said that.
I know. All right, so look at this. We're already halfway done with the book. It's pretty good. We're just adding 20, doing a chapter a day. I like it. I feel like I get more when I read a little bit longer than 10 minutes. 10 minutes is so short. Well, thanks for coming, Shannon.
Thank you, Leah.
I hope you get a good nap today.
Me too.
Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Here's my garbage bags.
We're moving
I've been,
to Arkansas.
We are.
Oh, Leah.
No matter what.